So milestone 1 is establish a church plant DNA. Milestone 2 is to form compassion ministries and partnerships. If the end result is that all of your ministries are inward, then what you've created is a monument to itself. You've created a self-affirming subculture that's all about meeting its own needs. You've got to find a way to begin to focus outwards for compassion mission ministries. Bob Roberts has a new book out called Transformation. I like Bob. He's got this one chapter title in his book that I think is just great. And theology aside, some people might misunderstand the intent, but listen to the words. It says, "Nobody turns down a church that combines Billy Graham and Mother Teresa." Isn't that pretty profound? Well, ultimately, what we want to be known for, I think Christians are too known for their causes and not well enough known for their Christ and for serving people kind of in the midst of their difficulty and their pain. And I think when they are, that breaks down so many barriers. I'm not saying do servant evangelism so people think you're nice and they'll come to your church. I say do servant evangelism because people need Jesus, people need to be served, and that's what Christ calls us to do. And in the process, people will see the reality of our God. I don't want them to just know us for protests. I want them to know us for service. There are moral things that we need to stand for. I get that. I'm good with that. But I think when we stand with the poor, when we stand with the sick, when we care for the orphan, the sick, the AIDS victim, even back to the leper, back to the New Testament days, and even some places today, one sociologist wrote that the church really didn't grow that much in the first century. We sometimes think it did. But statistically, it didn't grow. Where it really exploded was in the second century. And he wrote this, and he made a pretty convincing case that there were a series of plagues that swept across the empire. And everyone ran to get away from the sick people, except the Christians. And a few years after, revival broke out. Well, I don't know what God has in store for us, but right now there's all kinds of places that we can step in and form compassion ministries and partnerships with others for the sake of the gospel.